Angelina Jordan, the Reinvention era. What happens when a prodigy becomes a powerhouse? When the world first met Angelina Jordan, she was a barefoot 8-year-old with a voice that didn't match her age. She walked onto the stage of Norway's Got Talent and sang like someone who had lived 100 years. Later, she stepped onto America's Got Talent, the champions, and reminded the world that lightning can strike twice. But today's story isn't about the beginning. It's about the transition. Because the most difficult phase of any prodigy's career is not the rise. It's the reinvention. And Angelina Jordan is standing right at that turning point. The prodigy trap. History has shown us something interesting about child stars. They explode early. They dominate headlines. They trend globally. And then one of two things usually happens. They fade quietly. Or they fight to redefine themselves. The industry often struggles to know what to do with a prodigy once they're no longer a child. When Angelina was 8, her story sold itself. A little girl singing jazz classics. It was instantly compelling. But now? She's no longer the surprise. She's the artist. And that requires a completely different strategy. The voice has matured, and that's a good thing. One of the most debated topics around Angelina is her vocal evolution. Her early performances had a fragile, smoky innocence, something almost haunting. As she grew older, her tone deepened. Her breath control became stronger. Her phrasing became more deliberate. Some listeners said, she changed. Yes. She did. Because no healthy vocalist keeps a child's vocal texture into adulthood. Physiologically, vocal folds thicken and stabilize with age. Resonance cavities mature. Air support improves. The result? A more grounded sound. That's not decline. That's development. And development is the foundation of longevity. The Quincy factor. Angelina's career took a major turn when she signed with Republic Records, backed by the legendary Quincy Jones. Now understand something. Quincy Jones is not just a producer. He's an architect of eras. He worked with icons like Michael Jackson and helped shape modern pop and R&B history. So when someone of that caliber sees something in a teenage artist, it matters. But here's the reality. Even legendary mentorship does not guarantee overnight superstardom. Why? Because the industry has changed. Streaming algorithms dominate. Short-form content drives exposure. Viral moments overshadow technical mastery. Angelina's artistry is classic. The current market is fast. That tension creates strategic decisions. The genre question. Angelina has always leaned toward jazz and vintage soul influences. That's part of her identity. But mainstream charts are dominated by contemporary pop, Afrobeats, hip-hop, and electronic production. So the question becomes, does she adapt to the market? Or does she carve a niche? Artists like Adele proved that traditional vocal strength can still dominate charts. Billie Eilish showed that unconventional tone can redefine pop standards. Taylor Swift demonstrated that reinvention can multiply longevity. Angelina sits somewhere unique. She's not chasing trends. She's not forcing radio formulas. She's building identity. An identity lasts longer than trends. The barefoot symbol was still relevant. The barefoot image became iconic. It wasn't marketing. It was a promise, inspired by a childhood encounter with a less fortunate girl, which led Angelina to perform barefoot in solidarity. But now that she's entering adulthood, people ask, will she continue that symbol forever? Brand evolution is delicate. When an artist becomes known for a specific visual identity, changing it can shock audiences. But staying locked in one image can also limit growth. The smartest move? Gradual transformation. Keep the authenticity. Evolve the presentation. That's how icons are built. The social media reality. One major difference between Angelina's early years and now. The dominance of platforms like TikTok. Today, a 15-second clip can build a career. But Angelina's style thrives in full performances, in emotional arcs, dynamic control, storytelling. Her strength is not quick hooks. It's depth. So the challenge becomes: how do you translate depth into digital speed? That's where strategy matters. Short clips of high-note climaxes. Behind-the-scenes songwriting sessions. Raw acoustic sessions. Not changing who she is, but packaging her artistry for modern consumption. The pressure of comparison. There's something unfair about prodigies. They peak in public too early. So every future performance is compared to their breakthrough moment. For Angelina, that includes her performance of Bohemian Rhapsody that stunned audiences worldwide. But here's the truth. You can't recreate surprise. The first time people hear something extraordinary, it hits differently. Maturity doesn't shock. It convinces. And conviction builds careers. The silent strategy phase. Many fans ask, why isn't she everywhere? But visibility and development are not the same. Sometimes artists enter a strategic incubation phase. During this time, songwriting skills sharpen. Branding aligns. Market positioning gets refined. Collaborations are negotiated. This phase is quiet publicly, but powerful privately. It's possible Angelina is not slowing down. She's building collaboration potential. Imagine Angelina collaborating with a cinematic composer for film soundtracks, a modern soul producer blending jazz with subtle trap percussion, an orchestral live album recorded with a European symphony. Her voice naturally fits film scores. It fits emotional ballads. It fits timeless records. She doesn't need to compete with dance floor anthems. She can dominate the cinematic lane. And cinematic artists age beautifully in the industry. Mental strength and maturity. Let's address something deeper. Growing up in public is psychologically complex. Criticism becomes permanent. Praise becomes addictive. Expectations become overwhelming. But Angelina has remained composed. No public scandals. No chaotic breakdown narratives. No dramatic controversies. That stability suggests strong support systems. Family guidance. Professional management. Personal discipline. Those are the invisible pillars of sustainable careers. The reinvention era. Right now, Angelina stands at the edge of something powerful. She's no longer the talented child. She's becoming the serious artist. And that shift requires stronger lyrical themes, more personal songwriting, bolder visual aesthetics, strategic collaborations. The audience must see growth, not just hear it. What could define her next era? 3 possibilities. A concept album rooted in vintage jazz but written from a young woman's perspective. A cinematic EP tailored for film placements and streaming playlists. A viral stripped-down performance series that reintroduces her raw vocal power to a new generation. Each path carries risk. But risk defines reinvention. Longevity versus hype. Some artists chase hype. Others build legacy. Hype is loud but temporary. Legacy is quiet but permanent. Angelina's trajectory suggests she's leaning toward legacy. And legacy artists often have slower, steadier rises. But once they establish themselves, they don't disappear. The future outlook. Angelina Jordan is not in decline. She's in transition. And transition is uncomfortable because it lacks fireworks. But transitions are where foundations solidify. The child amazed the world. The teenager proved consistency. The young adult is now shaping identity. And identity is the most powerful asset an artist can own. The real question is not, will she stay relevant? The real question is, how will she redefine relevance on her own terms? Because when prodigies survive the reinvention phase, they don't just remain famous. They become timeless. And Angelina Jordan is standing at that exact crossroads. Angelina Jordan's future collaborations, the strategic moves that could make her global. Angelina Jordan's journey has already been extraordinary. From winning Norway's Got Talent as a child to captivating American audiences on America's Got Talent, The Champions, she proved early that her talent was not temporary. But now, the next chapter of her career will not be defined by talent alone. It will be defined by strategic collaboration. Collaboration, in today's music industry, is not just about combining voices. It is about association, positioning, and expansion. The right collaboration can shift perception overnight. The wrong one can dilute identity. For Angelina, every partnership must serve a long-term artistic vision rather than short-term visibility. The first category of collaboration she should pursue is artistic credibility partnerships. These are duets with vocalists known for emotional depth, technical discipline, and authenticity. A carefully selected collaboration with an established soul or jazz-influenced artist would reinforce her brand as a serious musician. The goal would not be commercial spectacle. The goal would be artistic alignment. When two emotionally intelligent vocalists share space, the result is often timeless rather than trendy. The second category is orchestral and classical crossover collaborations. Angelina's voice naturally carries cinematic weight. A live performance with a symphony orchestra, or a recorded project blending classical instrumentation with contemporary songwriting, could expand her reach into more mature and international audiences. Orchestral collaborations also elevate perception. They communicate sophistication, seriousness, and artistic ambition. The third strategic path is cinematic soundtrack placement. Her tone fits dramatic film scoring. A powerful original song featured in a major motion picture or global streaming series would introduce her to millions of viewers who may not actively follow music charts. Soundtrack success creates emotional association. When audiences connect a voice to a powerful scene, that memory becomes lasting. This type of exposure builds legacy far more effectively than viral trends. Another powerful move would be selective international collaborations. Because Angelina's early exposure reached both European and American markets, she already has cross-cultural recognition. Partnering with respected artists from different regions, while maintaining her artistic tone, could strengthen her global footprint. The key is maintaining cohesion. Any international project must feel like an extension of her artistry, not a departure from it. There is also the possibility of songwriter collaborations behind the scenes. Working with writers known for subtle storytelling rather than formula-driven hooks would protect her identity. Co-writing projects allow her to maintain emotional authenticity while still benefiting from experienced creative input. The public may focus on the vocalist, but the architecture of a great song often determines longevity. Now let's address what she should avoid. High-energy trend collaborations that conflict with her restrained delivery could create short-term spikes but long-term confusion. Her competitive advantage lies in emotional subtlety. If that subtlety is overshadowed by aggressive production or misaligned branding, the uniqueness that defines her could weaken. Strategic collaboration is about synergy. The best partnerships amplify both artists without erasing individuality. For Angelina, synergy must revolve around emotion, storytelling, and vocal texture. Live collaborative performances could also play a critical role. Imagine intimate acoustic duets streamed globally, or curated stage appearances at major music festivals known for artistic credibility. Live environments showcase authenticity. They remove studio manipulation and highlight raw talent. For an artist like Angelina, that environment strengthens reputation. Global expansion does not require loud reinvention. It requires consistent positioning. By aligning with artists and projects that mirror her emotional depth, she builds a network of credibility. Credibility compounds. Each respected collaboration strengthens the next opportunity. Another dimension to consider is philanthropic or purpose-driven collaborations. Angelina's early barefoot symbolism represented empathy and awareness. Partnering with humanitarian causes or charity concerts can reinforce her authenticity while expanding her reach beyond music audiences. Purpose-driven branding builds emotional loyalty that extends beyond streaming numbers. Ultimately, the future of Angelina Jordan's collaborations must follow one guiding principle: alignment over popularity. Every duet, every project, every feature must feel consistent with her core identity: minimalism, vulnerability, and emotional resonance. If she chooses her collaborators with discipline and foresight, she will not just expand geographically. She will expand culturally. She will move from being recognized as a talented former prodigy to being respected as a globally relevant artist whose voice carries weight across borders. The next decade of her career will not be defined by how loudly she sings. It will be defined by who she chooses to stand beside, and why. Strategic partnerships can either accelerate legacy or fragment identity. If handled with precision, they will elevate her into a space where influence replaces novelty. And when that happens, Angelina Jordan will not just be part of global music conversations. She will shape them. Because understanding Angelina Jordan's future is incomplete without understanding her audience. Talent explains attention, but psychology explains loyalty. Angelina Jordan's fanbase is not built purely on admiration. It is built on emotional attachment. And emotional attachment is far more durable than casual interest. From her earliest performances, including her breakthrough on Norway's Got Talent, audiences didn't just react to vocal skill. They reacted to contrast. A young child delivering emotionally heavy jazz standards created cognitive dissonance. That contrast triggered fascination. But fascination alone does not sustain a fan base for years. What sustains it is perceived authenticity. Angelina's delivery style, soft phrasing, measured tempo, visible vulnerability, signals sincerity. In audience psychology, sincerity lowers resistance. When listeners believe an artist is emotionally honest, they invest more deeply. They do not just consume the music, they internalize it. There is also the empathy factor. Her early barefoot performances symbolized humility and emotional awareness. Whether intentional or not, that imagery reinforced the perception of purity and groundedness. Fans projected meaning onto that symbol. Projection is powerful. Once audiences project values onto an artist, they defend that artist emotionally. Defense creates loyalty. Another layer of her fanbase psychology is cross-generational resonance. Younger listeners see individuality. Older listeners hear classic tonal influences reminiscent of traditional jazz and blues stylists. This dual appeal broadens emotional reach. When multiple age demographics connect to the same artist for different reasons, the fanbase becomes structurally stable. There is also the phenomenon of protective attachment. Artists who begin young often trigger a nurturing response from audiences. Fans feel as though they have watched her grow. That creates a long-term observational bond. But here is the critical shift: if she successfully transitions into mature artistry, that nurturing bond can evolve into respect-based loyalty. Respect-based loyalty is stronger than novelty-based attention. Another psychological strength lies in her restraint. In a media environment saturated with oversharing and constant exposure, Angelina's relative composure creates mystique. Mystery increases perceived depth. When audiences do not have full access to every detail of an artist's life, they lean into the art itself for connection. Scarcity increases perceived value. Additionally, her vocal texture plays a direct role in emotional bonding. Lower registers and controlled vibrato often evoke warmth and intimacy. Intimacy triggers closeness perception. When listeners feel a voice is intimate, they subconsciously experience proximity, as if the artist is singing directly to them. That perceived closeness builds parasocial attachment. Parasocial attachment, when positive and balanced, strengthens streaming consistency, concert attendance, and long-term engagement. But this psychological structure must be handled carefully. If artistic direction shifts too abruptly, fans can experience identity disruption. If branding becomes inconsistent, emotional trust weakens. That is why controlled evolution is essential. Growth must feel like a natural extension, not a departure. The strongest artists maintain a psychological through line across decades. Even as their sound evolves, their emotional core remains recognizable. For Angelina, that core is emotional sincerity and restraint. If she continues reinforcing those qualities while expanding thematic maturity, her fanbase will not fracture during transition. It will mature alongside her. And that is the ultimate goal. When fans feel they are growing with an artist rather than losing the version they loved, loyalty compounds instead of dissolving. So the real power behind Angelina Jordan's career is not just vocal discipline. It is emotional architecture. An architecture built on authenticity, restraint, empathy, and cross-generational resonance. If preserved and refined, that architecture will sustain her long after trends rotate and algorithms shift. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and comment for more videos, and please share the video. Thanks for watching. See you in another next video. Peace out.